So, let's speak frankly. The universe is likely teeming with life. It is simply a matter of statistics. And now, data has emerged that may confirm this. It is truly astonishing. There is one young man from Harvard, incredibly intelligent and unconventional in his thinking. He claims that the interstellar object 3 and Atlas are not just rocks, but technologies. And, the data supports his statements. Just yesterday, the entire academic community was calm. Everyone thought it was just a comet that would pass by Mars. We would observe it through telescopes, write a few articles, and that would be it. Consensus is what happens when people stop thinking. And then, suddenly, the entire picture changes drastically. All previous calculations are thrown out the window. Our specialists from GPL and the team from Harvard confirm this is not an icy chunk, but a solid body. And it is not just moving by inertia, it is maneuvering. Understand this key point. Its trajectory is not solely governed by gravity. It is too precise and is changing. The speed fluctuates. It looks as if it has an engine. It seems to be performing a series of gravitational maneuvers with surgical precision while making active adjustments. And the speed is simply insane. Almost 8.5 kilometers per second. To put it into perspective, this distance from Earth to the Moon is covered in less than 1.5 hours. No known natural object has entered our system with such energy. The physics here is at its limit. And here is the most interesting part. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter flew closer and detected clouds of gas. But this does not resemble an ordinary comet. It has become twice as bright in just a few months and emits strange bursts in the ultraviolet spectrum. This does not look like melting ice. It resembles the exhaust of a plasma engine or the operation of a power plant. Ordinary comets behave passively. They simply melt under the sun. But this object acts like a spacecraft during the final stages of landing. It ejects gas in short, carefully calculated bursts. It self-regulates, adjusting its course. This is not outgassing. These are purposeful maneuvers. It slows down and changes direction. And here we are. The forecast. On the 26th of September 2025, it will pass within 10,000 kilometers of Mars. In cosmic terms, this is like walking into the next room. It is literally aimed at Mars. And now, the most important part. Calculations show that it requires just a small impulse of only 10 kilometers of additional speed change to turn this close pass into a direct collision. For an object that is already demonstrating active maneuvers, this is a trivial task. So what are we observing? A lost comet or an interstellar probe that is deliberately flying towards Mars, possibly to slow down in its atmosphere or even for something greater. This is either the most incredible natural phenomenon we have ever seen or the first contact. In any case, this changes everything drastically. We must direct all available tools towards it right now. This is the most important event in the solar system. Take a moment to consider this fact. The Object 3I Atlas requires only a tiny fraction of the impulse needed by the giant Starship rocket from SpaceX when launching from the surface of the Earth for its fate to shift from a safe flyby to a catastrophic collision. What is most concerning is that these changes in impulse are happening right now, in real time, remaining hidden from direct observation in its gas and dust tail. Spectroscopic analysis conducted using the powerful Gemini South telescope in Chile has revealed something that, to date, no scientist can explain in terms of known natural processes. Instead of the random and uniform ejection of sublimated ices characteristic of all known comets, the tail of 3I Atlas emits gas with a remarkable rhythmic pattern. Every 17 minutes, there is one pulse, and this periodicity has maintained perfect synchronization over many days of observation. These rhythmic pulses create a series of micro-accelerations directed precisely in the direction needed to smoothly align the object's trajectory with the orbital plane of Mars. No known natural process in cometology is capable of producing such a precise rhythm. In ordinary comets, jets of gas and dust erupt from the surface chaotically when sunlight strikes exposed areas of ice. These eruptions are unpredictable and never occur with a regularity reminiscent of a metronome. However, in the case of 3I Atlas, the observed pulses appear as if they were designed, resembling the operation of micro-thrusters from orientation systems used on modern spacecraft for precise course correction. If this mysterious pattern continues, by the 19th of September, the comet will gain sufficient lateral thrust to reduce the remaining distance to less than 50,000 kilometers. This is closer than the orbits of some natural satellites of Mars. After that, one powerful gas ejection could ultimately change its trajectory and set the object on a path of direct collision. The mass of 3I Atlas is estimated by specialists to be around 10 billion tons, composed of ice and dust heavily irradiated by cosmic rays, with a presumed metallic core approximately 400 meters in diameter. A direct impact with Mars would release colossal energy equivalent to the explosion of 2 million megatons of TNT. For comparison, this is thousands of times more powerful than the most powerful nuclear bomb ever tested by humanity on Earth. As a result of such an impact, the crater could reach 60 kilometers in width and 5 kilometers in depth. This cataclysm would eject a massive amount of debris into Mars's orbit, and some of it could be thrown into interplanetary space, creating a new threat to other objects in the solar system. Currently, dozens of active and planned spacecraft are functioning in orbit around Mars, ranging from the veteran Mars mission to the new rover Perseverance. A potential impact would not only leave a terrible mark on the planet's surface, it would instantly destroy the results of years of costly scientific research and investment. Satellites designed for communication and monitoring, as well as missions searching for signs of life, could be rendered inoperable in one fateful night. Within NASA, far from curious eyes, intense preparations for a possible crisis are already underway. Leaked internal memos indicate that mission planners are actively utilizing the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter not only for its primary tasks, but also as a forward radar for detailed imaging and tracking of the incoming trajectory of Comet 3 and Atlas. The powerful antennas of the Deep Space Communication Complex in Goldstone, California, are being urgently modified for this unique task. Specialists are attempting to bounce radio signals off the core of the mysterious comet to gain a more complete understanding of its structure and composition. The results of these radar observations remain under strict secrecy. However, one insider with access to this information described the data obtained as something that does not resemble any echo we have ever recorded. The signals indicate the presence of distinct metallic reflections mixed with soft, blurred signatures characteristic of ice. If these leaks are true, then Comet 3 and Atlas may represent more than just a collection of ice and dust. Its core could contain complex metallic alloys that could not have formed naturally in the conditions of deep space. This raises the possibility of an artificial structure hidden beneath an icy shell. Professor Avi Loeb and his student Adam Hybert have long insisted on a technological explanation for the anomalous behavior of this object. In a new scientific paper currently undergoing the review process, but already actively discussed in the scientific community, a detailed scenario is presented. According to this scenario, Comet 3 and Atlas is a directed messenger launched by a highly advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Instead of simply passing by our system, its mission is to maneuver precisely around Mars with the aim of deploying research probes or even intentionally colliding with its surface to release materials that we can detect with our instruments from afar. In their work, they provide calculations showing that with each gas impulse, the object loses mass in a non-random manner, controlling itself like a ship moving on its sublimated exhaust. This ability allows it to make subtle yet crucial adjustments to its trajectory as it approaches planets, just as spacecraft use their orientation thrusters for precise maneuvering. In confirmation of the darkest speculations, the Mars Express orbiter belonging to the European Space Agency recently captured an image of three small, shining objects in a high orbit around Mars. These objects were arranged in a strict geometric formation, forming a triangle. Initially, they were thought to be artifacts caused by cosmic rays hitting the camera sensor. However, they appeared in the same locations on three consecutive images taken by the spacecraft, which covered a circle around the planet. Could these be reconnaissance probes dropped 3 centuries ago during one of the past passes through our solar system? Professor Loeb strongly urges scientists to compare these mysterious objects with archival data from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to determine if there are metallic fragments on the planet's surface beneath these points that emerged at the same time. If such fragments are found, it would provide the first irrefutable evidence in history of interstellar technology ever recorded by humanity. This discovery would have a far greater impact than the study of Martian meteorites found on Earth. The timeline for future events appears truly daunting. September 26, 2025, is the date when the trajectory of Comet 3 and Atlas intersects with Mars's orbital path. The period from September 19th to September 30th represents a critically important window for final course adjustments, using those very mysterious gas impulses. During this time, the relative speed of the comet with respect to Mars will be around 57 kilometers per second. At such a terrifying speed, even a glancing collision could vaporize cubic kilometers of Martian rock and eject a massive cloud of dust into space, which would alter the planet's climate for a long time. Critics of this theory argue that no natural comet can change its path by 10 kilometers per second using only the energy of ice sublimation. Such a maneuver would require more than 10 billion joules, which far exceeds the power of any known cometary outbursts. Nevertheless, this is precisely the maneuver implied by the observed trajectory. This colossal energy gap between what is observed and what is theoretically possible is a powerful argument in Professor Loeb's hands. If we are indeed witnessing such a maneuver, it suggests that something is providing it with power at a level completely unknown to modern planetology. Perhaps these are thermonuclear reactors, or even annihilation engines powered by antimatter, hidden deep beneath the surface, ejecting superheated gas as reactive thrust. At this time, amateur astronomers around the world received a request to send in all photographs of Tri-Atlas that they are able to capture. Some of these images, taken by enthusiasts, show how the tail of the object splits into 3 distinct and blue streams, emitting a mysterious green light. Additionally, the images reveal strange gradients resembling auroras, pulsing in the same 17-minute rhythm as the gas emissions. In long-exposure photographs, these green beams appear to converge at a single point, pointing directly at Mars, as if tracing a trajectory for a future flight through space. Despite Mars being at a significant distance from Earth, a massive collision on its surface could result in debris being ejected into interplanetary orbit. Some computer models indicate that individual fragments ejected from Mars could reach the vicinity of Earth within a decade. If even some of this debris contains artificially created microbes or self-replicating nanotechnology, it could pose a contamination threat not only to Mars, but potentially to the entire inner solar system, including our planet. The European Space Agency, Roscosmos, the China National Space Administration, and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency have convened emergency task forces under strict secrecy. Publicly, no one explains the reasons for such sudden activity. However, insiders in the corridors mention the initiation of a planetary protection protocol. For the first time in human history, scientists are openly and seriously discussing whether humanity should attempt to intercept or even destroy an interstellar object before it arrives at another planet in our system. The main question that troubles everyone remains unanswered. Who or what controls Tri-Atlas? Is it an abandoned automatic device created by a civilization millions of years ahead of our development, whose systems continue to operate autonomously? Or is it a deliberately sent probe currently testing our reaction and technological capabilities? We do not know, But the available data no longer fits the old, comfortable narrative of a passive comet aimlessly drifting through space. Something about this object behaves like a complex device rather than a lifeless rock. By mid-September, all major observatories in the world, from the Hubble Space Telescope to the newest James Webb, will be focused on Tri-Atlas if its mysterious pulses continue. And if it crosses this last small gap between orbits, the red planet may witness an impact of a force it has not experienced since the late heavy bombardment 4 billion years ago. For scientists, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to explore something completely unique. For many, it is a cosmic nightmare unfolding before our eyes, as if in slow motion. With each passing moment, this horror inexorably approaches, and the deafening silence from official sources becomes increasingly palpable. We continue to receive standard reports on the activities of space missions. The European Space Agency publishes ordinary, unremarkable images. They are well aware that if the third atlas truly collides with Mars, the consequences of that event will change our position in the universe forever. So when in September you observe the rise of Mars in the night sky, remember that somewhere on this rusting, silent planet, an unknown interstellar object is trying to carve its path through the vastness of space, pulsing with a strange green light and adjusting its course meter by meter. Perhaps this is merely a chain of incredible coincidences. Perhaps there is a logical explanation that we do not know. But if that is not the case, and some hidden mechanism, sealed deep within the icy core, is deliberately guiding this object toward catastrophe, then the first irrefutable evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence may manifest not as a faint radio signal from distant stars, but as a blindingly bright green comet crashing into our neighboring planet at a speed of 50,000 feet per second, forever altering the night sky and showing us that we are not alone in the universe. And this revelation may happen very soon. Against the backdrop of scientific debates and hidden panic in the corridors of power, the approach of the third atlas has spawned a profound existential and religious crisis across the globe. News feeds, typically filled with politics and economics, are now overflowing with headlines about messages from the heavens, celestial signs, and harbingers of change. For the first time in many centuries, science has encountered a phenomenon that seems to have emerged straight from the pages of sacred texts. This has compelled billions of people to turn to their faith in search of answers. The Pope convened an emergency meeting of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, where theologians and astrophysicists discussed the nature of this object for hours. For some, it was a clear divine intervention, possibly the second coming of the star from Bethlehem, heralding a new era in human history. Others, more reserved, interpreted it as a test of faith, a reminder of the fragility of human existence and the power of the Creator. In the Islamic world, leading scholars issued fatwas calling for prayer and repentance. The third atlas was perceived as a sign, a message from Allah, the meaning of which is yet to be deciphered. Some spoke of it as a harbinger of the Day of Judgment, while others saw it as an opportunity for humanity to unite in the face of a cosmic mystery. In Israel, rabbis studied ancient texts of Kabbalah, searching for prophecies about a star coming from beyond the world to change the fate of creation. In the East, in Buddhist and Hindu monasteries, monks and sages discussed not so much judgment or signs, but a karmic event of global magnitude. They viewed the trio and the atlas as manifestations of an endless cycle of creation and destruction unfolding on the cosmic stage. A potential collision with Mars was perceived not as a catastrophe, but as a necessary transformation. Just as the god Shiva destroys old worlds to make way for the new. For many, this served as a reminder of the impermanence of all existence and the illusion of human pride. Alongside the reevaluation of established beliefs, new ones began to emerge. Across the globe, like mushrooms after rain, cosmic cults and churches of the green comet sprang up. Their followers saw in the trio and the atlas not merely technology, but a divine entity or a vessel of the creators. They gathered for night vigils, clad in green garments, and meditated, seeking to establish telepathic connections with the intelligence contained within the comet. For them, the green pulsating glow became a new sacred symbol, and the 17-minute rhythm was viewed as a divine heartbeat. These new religions offered a simple and comforting explanation. We are not a coincidence, but a part of a grand cosmic design, and our creators are returning to guide or judge us. This phenomenon revealed a deep divide in human consciousness. On one side, scientists with their telescopes, spectrometers, and mathematical models attempted to decipher the mystery, reducing it to equations of gravity, mass, and velocity. For them, the trio and the atlas represented an incredibly complex physical puzzle. On the other side, billions of people looked at the same night sky and saw not an object, but a symbol, not physics, but metaphysics. This was the greatest conflict in history between logos and myth, between rational knowledge and irrational faith. Television debates between astrophysicists and theologians attracted record audiences, yet the participants spoke different languages, unable to understand one another. The most profound consequence was the dismantling of anthropocentrism, the idea that humanity is the pinnacle of creation and the center of the universe. In the past, philosophy and religion placed humanity on a special pedestal. Now, with icy clarity, the realization dawned. Perhaps we are merely one of countless civilizations, and perhaps not the most advanced. This thought evoked in some a sense of cosmic humility and awe, while in others it sparked existential dread at the recognition of their insignificance. If there are entities in the depths of space capable of tossing planets like toys, what is our place in this universe? Are we beloved children of God, or merely dust on the side of the galactic highway? The main question posed in churches and laboratories remained unchanged, though it was phrased differently. If this is a message, what does it mean? Is it a warning of impending danger, or an invitation to join the galactic community? Or is it merely an indifferent cosmic phenomenon to which we desperately seek an explanation, lest we lose our sanity to the silence of the boundless universe? Humanity will soon receive an answer to this question, whether it is scientific or spiritual. What do you think is really happening with the triangles? Is it a natural phenomenon or something much more significant? Share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to stay tuned for updates to keep informed about the developments in this fascinating story.